is it possible to spend 24 hours in Disney World while spending $0? That's right, not a single cent. To start us off this morning, we are here in my kitchen, my home, and we're gonna make breakfast because that's how you save money in Disney World, is you don't eat at Disney World. Okay, I've got the goods. So Disney World, all of the resorts do have fridges, but not all of the resorts have microwaves. So that is really gonna impact what you can have for breakfast. I currently have the luxury of having a microwave. I will not pretend that I don't. So I get to have some hot food for breakfast. But there's a lot of great options even if you don't have a microwave. A lot of things that you can keep with you in your resort are gonna be things like mini cereals, protein bars, granola bars. I keep Uncrustables with me even when I stay at Disney World. You guys know how I feel about Uncrustables. That will be coming up again later. Just a lot of those like shelf stable items you can have for breakfast, even bananas, different fruiting things. There are so many stores around Disney World, like Publix, Aldi, like there's a ton just right there with Disney. But if you don't have a car, you can actually use Kroger grocery delivery to drop your stuff off, and you can actually even get like Amazon sent to your hotel. So just because you don't have a car and you flew in does not mean you can't get your groceries if you're looking to save a little money. Definitely consider doing that. I'm also having coffee at home this morning because that is something that you can find near Disney World Resort Hotel. They all have Keurigs with their Joffrey blends. I definitely recommend doing that, not only because it is gonna save you money, but it is gonna save you time for your rope drop. And inevitably, you're probably gonna need another coffee as the day continues to wear and tear. So save your money, have your first coffee in your room, and then if you need a second coffee, you can always buy it at the park if you want to. We're talking about money saving tips today, so coffee at home, my friends, and breakfast. Another thing I'm doing this morning before we even leave is I am packing my lunch. And I do have little lunch boxes, but we're gonna pack a handful of things and I don't want it to get nasty, so we're using our Trader Joe's cooler. If you're bringing things to the parks, that's my mom. If you are going to be bringing food to the parks, you can consider bringing a whole cooler. I know a lot of people who do that, who will use the backpack coolers, especially if you have a bigger family. This is going to help you save tons of money. But I've also brought just lunch boxes before. Anything to kind of help keep your stuff cool throughout the day. I guess we're headed out for a day full of saving and no spending and and inexpensive things to do in Disney World. We have made it to our first stop of the day, Disney Springs. Because if you didn't already know, Disney Springs is actually free to park at. So you don't have to pay. There's no fee for Disney Springs, no parking, nothing. And we're not spending any money today. Okay, we made it out of the car, and you might be surprised as to how many free things we're gonna find at Disney Springs. But we're gonna start off with what I think is probably the most obvious and probably the most easy thing you can do anywhere in Disney World for free, and that is window shopping. So if you don't know what Disney Springs is, essentially this is Disney's shopping and dining district. They're gonna have a lot of stores here, a lot of different restaurants, even some activities like the aerofoil balloon, and you can even find staples like Starbucks. So lots of simple things, but one of the best reasons to come to Disney Springs is really for the shopping and dining, of course. Now there are lots of different places to shop in Disney Springs. The most famous are gonna be World of Disney, and the Marvel Store and things like that, but my preferred is Disney Style. Disney Style is similar to World of Disney in the sense that I have a lot of that kind of more generic Disney stuff that you might be thinking about, but I think a lot of the stuff is a lot cuter. Now you can find things that overlap between here and World of Disney, but there's just something about this store that I think is my preferred. Now for me, window shopping is like a pastime, a sport, something that I would say I probably have the gold in, because I live in Disney World. I can't buy everything I see, which is hard, and so it means I've had to practice some self-control and learning the window shopping, but it can be just as fun even if you don't buy things. And I say that, it makes it sound like I have a problem, but really, that's not true. Now this is not the only spot that you can kind of find those Disney finds at. There's also a Marvel store, Star Wars, again, World of Disney. There's tons and tons, but if you're not looking for just Disney specific things, they even have things like Under Armour, Lululemon, a spice and tea exchange store, Planet Hollywood. Like there's a lot of random, but like a lot of fun places that you can shop around. So it's not just Disney specific, and I think almost anyone can find something here, even if you're just window shopping like I am. Now another free thing that you can do at Disney Springs is typically something you'll find later in the evenings, but it's watching free shows. What kind of triggered my mind that is Raglan Road. A lot of times we'll have live performers inside and outside. Again, it's typically towards the end of the day, towards the dinner time, I should say, but they almost always have live performers, but especially on the weekends, and you don't even have to be eating there. They typically perform right here on this stage, and you can just enjoy it as you're walking past, but that's actually not the only place in Disney Springs to find some live entertainment. Another great place to find some live entertainment is right here by the boathouse and Jock Lindsay's Hangar Bar, and this is another one that towards the end of the evening is when the live entertainment is really going to start ramping up, but they have lights, they have different live performers, and a lot of it is really fun. And over here to the left on either side, you can find out who's playing, when you're there, and what times. These are not the only two spots. They have stuff all around. So over by AMC, near World of Disney as well. There are tons of places, and definitely keep your eyes peeled because it is a lot of fun. And again, you don't really have to pay for it. It's just something you can enjoy while you're here at Disney Springs. Okay, so we've got lots to do here as we're running around, but one of those things is lunch. We packed our lunch, friends. Do you remember that this morning at my house? Yeah, we're gonna have lunch. We found a shady spot at Springs, and I did not bring my full cooler in, as you were wondering. You might not have been. But what I did do is I left it all in my cooler because I have the luxury of leaving the cooler in my car, which not everyone will have, but I did. So I took that advantage, and then I transferred what I need for lunch into my popcorn bucket. It doesn't have to be just popcorn in here. You can do whatever. So as far as lunch goes for me today, I grabbed some shelf staples that I really love. Don't judge me, trigger warning, tuna. I'm on a big tuna kick right now. I love the Tuna Creations Sweet and Spicy. It's one of my favorites. And then I pair that with some Ritz crackers that I set that on, carrots that have been kept actually really cold in my cooler, and hummus. And that's the lunch we're having. And all of these things I love to bring with me when we are kind of hanging out, running around the parks, when we're not eating on camera necessarily, but I obviously need to eat lunch because they're not hard to keep cool. They're things I'm not worried about getting too hot. Obviously, if you're just gonna let the hummus rest in the sun, like maybe consider an alternative. But as long as you've got a tiny little ice packet, these are great, great options. And they're fairly nutrient dense and protein heavy, so it kind of helps get you through the day. Lunch is wrapped up, so now we're gonna talk about something you might not even know about, and this one's more kiddo-centric. So over here at T-Rex, this is a restaurant that I personally think is akin to a rainforest cafe, if you will. You get to go inside, step back into the time of the dinosaurs. It's a lot of fun. It's super cute. Sage and I have actually been here, but one thing you might not know about is that they have a little play area. There is massive dinos inside, and there is a Build-A-Dino experience in here as well. Although definitely not free, but if you keep walking, you can get out here to Dino Extravaganza. This is a kind of kids play area. These are required, but there's a lot of fun stuff that you can kind of dig for fossils, play around. There's a hand wash station, and this is a great way to kind of burn off some of that energy. Now, I'm not going to spend a ton of time in there because I'm an adult by myself, and I don't want to be here playing in the sand alone. It's always more fun when your friends are there, but it's just a great thing for kiddos to do, especially if you've been walking around Disney Springs. You're not quite ready to leave, but they are. It's a great place to take them. And that's not the only place. Right over here near T-Rex, you're gonna find the Lego store, which is obviously hugely popular based on this line. And this is of course a place for window shopping, but you can also build Legos in here. Now it is technically intended for you to buy, but you don't have to. And if you're a kiddo at heart, like me, or actually a kiddo, and you want to just kind of play with some Legos and hang out, this is a great place to do it. And it's free. We're gonna kill some time playing with Legos. But we're gonna get a long line to do it, because the Lego store is very popular. You don't know that. All right, we made it inside. It did not take that long. So they do have tons of assorted sets. They've got regular sets. There is so much to do in here. And you can actually even build yourself a Lego. So as you can see, this is a super popular activity. It's called Build Your Own Minifigure. You can kind of sort through all the pieces that they give you. And then you even have your own little take-home kind of bag that they give you here at the top. This shirt. Oh, and there's a dog, so we'll count that one. Dr. Pepper. And here's the carrying case I was mentioning, which I think is very sweet. You can do 3 pieces for $9.99. I know we're balling on a budget, just having fun today, but I think that's cute. Mermaid legs, I'm totally a mermaid. There is so much to do in here. I could literally hang out here all day. I just didn't want to take up other people's time to play because they're really going to buy stuff. But if you're in here, enjoy, look around, have a good time. There is lots and lots and lots to do. And even the minifigure factory is where you can kind of go customize yourself even more than the $10 option. This one is you get to purchase, personalize, accessorize, and collect them like a really, really neat experience. Build back here, which is a very similar idea, but not necessarily about yourself. I just wanted to show that before we headed out. And this amazing Spider-Man Lego build with his little camera up here. Just super, super cool. Love you, Lego store. Another super cool free feature that you don't even necessarily have to go into the store for is they have an area out here where you can build your own cars and race. I think this is a great time. Even if you're not a kiddo, this is super fun and a great way to just kill some time. I keep saying that, but sometimes that's what Disney World is about. I also feel like this would be a really fun way to make some memories with your family. Like you're all fighting to see who could do the best Lego car, and that can get honestly pretty intense. Now we've talked about it a bit, so I figured of course we need to kind of check out World of Disney while we're here. And outside of World of Disney and even outside of the Lego store, they have these really incredible Lego statues, but as well as the princesses. They have Sleeping Beauty and they have Cinderella out here. And I think these make for great photo ops. So you're not necessarily meeting the princesses, but you're getting to take pictures with them. And I think that counts. And I know that I had pictures with them when I was a kid, so it's a great memory. All right, more window shopping just because we're here. In case you're curious, this is the biggest Disney store you can find in Disney World and also in North America. It is pretty massive. There is so much to see and do. Lots of ways to kind of window shop, but then also just have a good time exploring and seeing some of that famous Disney merchandise, even if you're not going to buy it. Now, we won't be doing this today, but another kind of free thing in a way that you can do is download the My Disney Experience app, and this is where we lose the free part. You can actually do a price check on your phone, and you can even check out on your phone by using that app. So the app itself is free, and I highly encourage it for anyone coming to Disney World. But if you are noticing this is a bit more crowded than our past stores, it's definitely one of the most crowded spots in all of Disney World, but especially Disney Springs. And if you can skip those lines to check out, highly recommended. Now, of course, we're saving cash today. That's what we're about, Dream Team, saving some money. So we won't be checking out today, but it's pretty neat that you can actually grab that app for free and utilize it in ways that will make your vacation better, to be honest. That sounded like an ad, but it wasn't. We're gonna wrap up our window shopping in here, but I'm obsessed with these shoes. I don't know if anybody else watches Modern Family. It's one of my favorite shows, and I love the episode when they go to Disneyland and Gloria wears high heels, and he and Jay at the end finally buys her a pair of these, and she says they're like pianos. And she loves them so much, and I think that every time I see these. We've made it definitely towards the other side of Disney Springs, and fun fact, if you did not know, you can actually find samples here sometimes. Now I say sometimes, and I use that with like a big old asterisk, okay, because it's not every time you're gonna come to Disney World that you can find the free samples, but occasionally at places like Ghirardelli, they will do special samples. For example, last summer, Ghirardelli did free chocolate squares on National S'mores Day, so definitely keep your eyes peeled, and heck, if you want to go try the ice cream, I won't tell anybody. You're not obligated to buy it, but be respectful. Don't just take all the samples. Now, there was a period of time where Ghirardelli in particular used to give out a single free sample every time you would ask kindly. Now, they did stop that a few years ago, but they still will occasionally have those kind of specialty offerings if you're paying attention, and you can find those in a lot of places around. Another very cool thing that you can do is head over here to Crystal Arts and see a live glass blowing. Now, they don't do these all the time, but they do have different sessions throughout the day. And you can actually see this here as well as in Magic Kingdom, which I think is very cool. And they're doing one right now. So Crystal Arts has a lot of really beautiful things that you can see outside of just those live demonstrations. But I do think that that is something that makes it very unique and something that you can experience even if you're not necessarily going to purchase anything in the store. This is one of those things that maybe not everybody wants to do, but there might be a dad who doesn't love Disney who thinks that that's pretty cool. So I know that my dad likes to look at the art and still have the Disney, but he's necessarily the biggest Disney fan. So I think that that's something that maybe a little bit of everybody can enjoy. They also do silverware punches in here as well, just like over in Magic Kingdom. And if you can catch it, you can definitely see them freeing those as well, which again, rude. A party in there sells free. Partypark.com maybe. I hope anyone knows what I'm talking about. If you want to see the Cinderella Sports King Castle, you can do it in Magic Kingdom, but you can also do it here in Disney Springs for free. We can't afford it. I think we all can agree we can't afford it because it was one of 50 pieces ever made in the world, but it's pretty darn nice to look at. Another free thing that you can do is they do have a Disney Photo Pass studio out here, and you can technically take the photos for free. Now, you're not going to get them printed, or you're not going to get access to them, of course, unless you pay for it. But if you just want to have a really fun, weird photo session, you can do that. Now, if you want to see the Photo Pass situation and what that looks like, Quincy and I do that on our perfect day here in Disney Springs. But there's also something else you can do here, and you can actually do in a lot of stores here. Thank you so much. Have a good day, y'all. So that thing is actually get a free celebration button. It's like a nice little souvenir. I collect them personally. Every time I do something for one of my friends, and they have a handful. So this one is that I'm celebrating. It comes with music, and then you get the option to write on it. You can also get a birthday button if it's a birthday, or even a happily ever after button if you're celebrating something like an engagement or an anniversary or a marriage. Now, another thing that you can do that is technically a free activity, even though it's not free to start it in a way, is pin trading. Now, this is something you can do all over Disney World. There is a whole community of pin traders where people will meet up and have these like massive pin trading hangouts. But it's actually something that Disney facilitates as well, and the cast members can participate in with just the guests. It's a lot of fun. So this is like kind of your own form of scavenger hunting if you want to do that. We obviously love a good scavenger hunt, and pin collecting is one of my favorite things to do and purchase in any Disney park. I personally love pin trading and collecting and kind of doing all the do with pins because they're not super expensive. Now, there are some that are expensive. Let's not pretend like there aren't. For the most part, pins can range anywhere from like $12 to $20-ish dollars if you're going for the smaller ones, and I love it. It's a great thing that you can toss in your bag. They are great gifts for other friends. They're not super expensive, and they're tiny enough that they're not going to take up room in your suitcase when it's time to head home. And there's kind of a whole community underlying, which is really neat if you get into that kind of thing. Now, when it comes to pin trading, there's a few ways. Cast members, you can do it between friends, but that's up to you. The cast members will either wear lanterns, or you can find these pin boards. Now, this is what a pin looks like if you've never seen it. It's kind of this metal thing. It's going to come in a lot of characters, places, different things. And it's going to have this back. Now, this is an official Disney pin. You can tell because of the pin trading logo. You can actually tell what year this one was made, 2009. Someone actually gave this to me and Quincy because she said it reminds her of Mortimer, so she found 2 of them, which is super cool. So I'm not going to trade this one means a lot to me, but all you do is you're going to take your pin, you're going to pop the back right off, and then you're going to walk up to one of the boards and lay it down and trade. The only caveat to this one is you do have to own a pin before you pin trade. Although pin trading is free, you kind of have to have one to start the process. But you can do what I really like to do. A lot of people don't do this, so like take this with a grain of salt. But what you can do is you can get on eBay and buy a ton of pins, older pins, for handfuls of dollars. Now, the reason that people don't really love to do this is because a lot of times you're going to get fakes. If it just means that it is not Disney created, I personally don't have a gripe with that as long as I like the pin. Now, some pin traders really don't like that. They want to stick with the official Disney pin. It is totally up to you, but if you're looking to kind of go on a budget, this is something you want to partake in, but not necessarily spend a lot of money on just to trade it later. That's a great way to do it, in my opinion. And then if you just want to collect them and not trade them, that's also a ton of fun. I collect mostly. I get something every single place I go. And anytime there's like a big life event for me, I have a pin that kind of represents that trip or whatever happened for us that made me want to buy it. But that's just my thing. If you want to trade, definitely. It's a free activity. It is so much fun, and I highly recommend it. And we've actually got to do a lot over here at Disney Springs, but that's not all you can do. No, it's not the only free Disney stuff. It's not just wandering around. Now it's time to head to the resort. We've made our way over to the resorts, and I'm starting at one of my personal favorites, which is the boardwalk, because I used to work here, and also I think it's like its own little world outside of Disney. So if you've never been to Disney's boardwalk, resort, and inn, there is a lot of stuff that you can find over here, like the upcoming brand new blue corn dogs sandwich is gonna be this right here. It's not open just yet, but it's a Disneyland staple, and I'm super excited to see it. There's also things like Abracadabra, the Boardwalk Deli, Joe's Marvelous Margaritas, Trattoria, which I mispronounce every time, so forgive me for that one. But there's tons of things to see and do over here. One thing that you can find at all the resorts, not just the boardwalk, is the resort activities. So for example, right now Disney is going for their Disney Family Wellness. So they have things like the fitness center, which is open 24/7, which is a free amenity if you're a guest here. But then they also have things like the Family Wellness Yoga, which is a yoga session inspired by Disney friends that you can just go to 9 to 9:30. Now, of course, a lot of this does kind of pertain on you being a guest at a Disney resort. However, you don't necessarily have to be a resort guest at the boardwalk to partake in things like the wellness yoga or even just like exploring the resort, which is kind of our main point of the resorts. The best free thing to do at the resorts, which we're going to talk about the little things here and there, but my favorite free thing is just resort hopping. If you don't really know what that is, resort hopping is essentially like going out around the different resorts and exploring and having a good time. And if you don't know, you actually cannot park at the Disney resorts unless you are already a guest at that resort or if you have a Disney dining reservation at that resort. But what you can do is park at one of the theme parks and then take that free Disney transportation over to the different resorts. Unless you're already staying here, then you can just take the Disney free transpo everywhere. So I personally love the Skyliner. Anytime I can hop on Skyliner, that is my favorite way to get around Disney World, which is kind of ironic because I'm scared of heights, but it's really not that bad. It's a lot of fun, but if it's raining, maybe consider, if you're scared of heights or that feels nerve-wracking to you, maybe consider doing something else. Now, they will close the Skyliner if it's bad enough, but if it's just sprinkling, I don't personally like it, so keep that in mind. But there's a ton of ways to get to the resorts without necessarily parking here. We are going to check out some other resorts as well today, but one thing that I want to talk about that is across all resorts and not necessarily something I can show you right now is actually the holiday offerings at the resorts, because that is something that is free to experience and see and kind of check out, but is so magical and special. If you didn't know, Disney of course goes above and beyond when it comes to holidays, but especially things like Christmas and in particular Easter actually. For example, over at the Grand Floridian, they build massive gingerbread houses and you can buy treats out of it, and there's so much really unique and cool experiences. They will also do massive Christmas trees throughout all of the resort that is just beautiful, and it's kind of like your own Christmas tree stroll if you want to treat it that way or try new treats, but just experiencing it and seeing all of the beauty that they have to offer when it comes to the holidays is a really special and fun time. Even if you've been to a Disney resort, if you haven't been during a holiday, you haven't seen the whole thing. It is so beautiful. My personal favorite during the holidays has to be the Grand Floridian, just because they have so many fun offerings, and it's just really neat to see how they do the gingerbread house every year, because I don't care how many times I've seen it, every year I get like starry-eyed, like I feel like a kid again, because it's that really fun Christmas magic. Now, of course, it's not going on all the time. That's only at select times of the year, and mainly the biggest draw is going to be Christmas. But if you're here during Christmas or any of that time, please go check it out. If you want to know when that stuff is starting to pop up, definitely check out the AllEars.net blog. That's where a lot of our newsy stuff is going to be. It is a lot more fast-paced than we can get YouTube videos out, but if you're looking for fast-breaking Disney news, definitely check out the blog, and you're going to be able to find dates and information all about all the holiday stuff right over there. Now, if you are staying at a Disney resort, another really fun free activity that you can do during your pool day is play games with Disney Recreation. They're playing one right now. You do have to technically be a Disney guest if you want to enjoy this, but they do it at every single resort. They have an entire cast team dedicated to recreation around the resorts and around the pools, and it is so much fun. Right now they're playing games trying to call out what movies and songs and things that people recognize. They do tons of different games, and it's a great way to spend that whole day when you're hanging out, chilling, but maybe it's day 4 of your trip, you need a break, and you're watching your kids in the pool, but they want to play, and maybe you're tired and you don't want to play pool games for another hour. You've already been doing it for a while. So it's great that you can sit and watch them, and they are entertained by the cast members. So we are going to come back to the boardwalk later, but for now, I figured why not check out some stuff? We've talked about other resorts, and if you know anything about us, you can kind of guess which one I'm going to. And I'm going to take the Skyliner to do it because free. If you guessed that my next stop was Disney's Riviera Resort, you nailed it. But if you know anything about us, our favorite reason to come over here, one of many, is to have a little coffee at Le Petit Cafe. And guess what I'm not doing today? It kind of feels like wrong. Now, one of my favorite things to do at any Disney resort, but in particular Riviera, is play some lawn games. This is free, y'all. It is so much fun. Now, weather permitting, they're going to be out here almost every single day. They have Giant Connect 4, they have bocce ball over here, and they also have cornhole. And I made my husband meet me after work, so that way we could play cornhole together. So despite all odds, clearly won that one. And it's because I didn't make a single one after that, but I got him on the board and I made one. So if we're not going to play anymore, we're calling it. We're done. Let's keep moving on. Not every single resort is going to have these specific lawn games, but they might have different lawn games of their own. Like I know over at Caribbean Beach Resort, they have like a little mini putt-putt situation. It's like a single hole. It's not huge, but it's a lot of fun. So definitely keep your eyes peeled. An awesome way to spend your day, just kind of relaxing, letting your kiddos have fun, or you also having fun. Now, another thing that you can find around the resorts is an event room. So all of the resorts are going to have a recreation, which we already talked about, but some of them even have really cool big event rooms where not all of the activities are free, but they do have some free things to watch movies, color, do that fun kind of stuff. So in the event room over here, they were playing High School Musical, tons of fun. You're able to kind of drop your kids off. They have cast members there, so you can stay with them. Or if you want to run and grab lunch while they hang out and watch a movie, that's also a great option. They were painting, which you can pay to paint, but then they also have free board games and things like that. And then at this particular resort, they have a scavenger hunt rally. So a lot of the resorts will have their own resort scavenger hunt, but on this one, they have this Skyliner rally, which is very neat. So it's not just limited to the Riviera, they actually go all the way around these Skyliner resorts. This is super fun. It takes you all over the resorts, but kind of around Disney World, to be honest, because it stops at Yacht and Beach Club, it stops at the Boardwalk, it stops at Art of Animation, Top Century, Caribbean Beach Resort, and then also here at the Riviera. So it's a lot of fun. It's going to take up some time, and it's a fun activity. It's a fun energy burner, which we've talked a lot about, but it's also a fun keepsake because you can fill it out and it's something that you can toss in your scrapbook, or just something that you guys can keep and look back on and think, that was so fun. Because a lot of stuff around Disney like this does not last forever, so to have little keepsakes like this is really interesting to me, to be able to look back and say, do you remember when they did this? Because they're not in the next few years. Okay, crew, I have a confession to make. Actually, I don't have a confession to make. You know the ties with me. We already talked about it. That's my husband, in case you don't know. Well, he was going to grab something from Le Petit Cafe. We all know I'm $0, 0 cents today, but he's not within those bounds, so that's fair. And I wanted to tell you guys what just happened, because this is so rare, and actually it ended up counting as part of our day. So basically, if you don't know what a magical moment is, that is something that cast members could do at kind of creating a moment for you where you have a really cool experience, anywhere from a really special character interaction to sometimes even a free item. This is not something you can ask for. This is not something you should expect on your trip. And honestly, I think this is only the second one I've ever had in my whole life. Well, so he ordered his coffee. She was making his coffee, and we were waiting for him to pay. And out of nowhere, she goes, "Honestly, guys, this one's on Mickey. Have a really good night." And I just think that's so cool. So anyways, it's his cold brew. He got the cinnamon one. I'm more of an almond cold brew myself, but I just think that is so cool and so sweet. And that's not something we ever really get to experience or do, because it is random. It's nothing that you can plan for or really show people, and it just happened so fast, and I just thought it was so precious, and I wanted to share that with y'all. I thank that cast member so much. That is a great time to give a cast compliment as well. If they do something to go out of their way for you, you can do that on the Disney Experience app. That's free, and it's always free to be kind. So I always encourage that no matter what you're doing. But I wanted to share that with y'all before we're really back on our trek to check out all the rest of the things we can do all the time for sure. That just made me really happy, and I wanted to share it. So magical moment.
So now that we've had our really, really cool magical moment, we're going to talk about why we actually came upstairs for this video, and that is one of these special things that you can do specifically at Riviera, which is the Pascal hunt. So this is another one of those kind of scavenger hunts. This one is specific to this resort, but if you spot where Pascal's hiding, you can take a photo with him and then head to the event room for a free button. We found Pascal. Look! This is your grand prize. So every time you find Pascal, you're not gonna get this big button, but they have places where you get a little sun, so that way you can keep track of how many times you play this game as they move him around the resort. And we got this for free. 2 buttons, 2 memorabilias, free. Okay, so we're gonna head out of the Riviera to go check out some more stuff. But while we're heading out, one thing I did want to talk about that happens at a lot of Disney resorts that are free is sometimes the characters will come out. I know, for example, here at Riviera, I've seen Daisy and Donald wandering around, and not just at the character breakfast. Of course they're there, but you gotta pay to get there. No, just like wandering around. I've seen Chip and Dale. A lot of times when characters are gearing up to go to the park for the first time, they get a little nervous. So they want to come to the resorts to kind of test the waters and see how it goes. So you see a lot of characters kind of wandering around. No, this does not have a set time. This is something you cannot guarantee, but there are some resorts where characters are a lot more frequent. For example, Full Wilderness, I see characters there a lot. So definitely keep your eyes peeled while you're resort hopping, because you might get to see characters and not have to pay a dime to see them. Okay, so we were gonna head out, and we're still gonna head out, but then I noticed one of the things on our bucket list, and it's a campfire at Disney World. So this, friends, is free. Now you can buy Mickey s'more kits, which Fry and I have done on our perfect Skyliner day, but these, just some marshmallows, are free. You can do as many as you want. We grabbed 2 sticks, and we're gonna have a good time.
Go and bring it up close, city's on fire. Turn it around, keep going on the other side.
Free. This is just one of those really, really neat activities. It's free in Disney World, but it's also like a memory maker. I remember, we're gonna do something later that I vividly remember doing with my family when we would come on vacation, and I think this is an example of that. It's so much fun, and it doesn't take any effort. It's just coming down here, having a good, sweet dessert, but then also like being around the campfire with your family. I think it's really unique, a really great time. And if you're not doing this on your Disney resort day or while you're staying, I think you're missing out. And I'm not even staying at a resort right now, and that was fine. I'm just here, I'm a Disney guest, and it was great.
Okay, we made it back to the boardwalk, and now for me, it's almost dinner time. But I see our last big thing before we're ending with a bang tonight, and that is Movies of Milan, which I'm so excited about. Tonight is WALL-E, so it's gonna start in about 30 minutes, but unfortunately it's starting to rain on us. So this is definitely one of those weather permitting kind of activities. If it does not happen outdoors though, they will move it indoors. So either way, we're watching WALL-E. Oh, and we're done. We're going inside, folks. We're watching WALL-E, but inside.
Okay, so I talked to a cast member. It is going to be in the community hall this evening. Now that is something that is always going to change at every Disney resort. They're going to have a backup location. Not necessarily every single night, but almost every night. Just ask cast members. They'll tell you where to go. And they told me, because I didn't know where that was.
So as we're walking towards community hall, I'm going to tell you a little bit about watching movies at Disney World. It's something called Movies Under the Stars, and they typically do it outside every single night at Disney resorts. It is a free activity, and that is the thing that I was referencing when I was talking about. I remember doing stuff with my family as a kid. That's one of those things. I vividly remember watching Movie Under the Stars with my family. We watched Tiana. They used to ask trivia questions. Sometimes they still will, but it's a free activity. You don't have to be a Disney resort guest to enjoy it. And it's just simple. It's a great way to kind of start relaxing at the end of a really long park day without necessarily having to go to bed. If you're not ready to go quite back to the room, but you're kind of done at the parks, it's a great place to head. We made it. We discovered it. We've got a lot of stuff in here. I've never been in this particular one. They even have Star Wars clothing. It's just neat. But I think this is a great time to eat dinner and watch your film. Dinner. Chips. Uncrustable. You know how it's going to bring about. Cashew pack. Welcher. True. So we just wrapped up watching part of Wally. We're not going to finish the whole thing. This is my magnet, another really fun free thing that we just got to do. The reason we're not watching all of Wally is because it's going to bleed into fireworks, and we are actually going to watch fireworks tonight. Not necessarily the way that you might think, but we're going to do it for free, and I think that's what counts here in this day of discovery and sharing our knowledge about the freedoms of Disney World. Ty wanted me to show you his as well, so I did Meg and he did Rafiki, and we both used glitter gel pen. We both had so much fun, and this is free, and now we're gonna get to keep these and put them on our fridge, and I just think that is so fun and cute and a great little keepsake. Okay, so we're making our way to the bridge because Epcot's just started. I'm very pleased with how we've spent our day, because a lot of people do find those kind of cheaper flights and they will fly in the morning and fly out at night. And this is a great way to kind of be in the Disney atmosphere without paying for a park ticket and just enjoy it all and have a good time without breaking the bank. It is possible. If you guys like this video, go ahead and like and subscribe. Now, if you want to see Disney World overnight, go check out Quincy and Bry's video during her no sleep challenge.